Welcome to the epic saga of the Portuguese Empire, a tale spanning nearly 6 centuries from the misty dawn of the 15th century to the twilight of the 20th. This is no mere summary, it's a detailed chronicle woven from the threads of exploration, conquest, trade, faith, and eventual decline. Picture a small kingdom on Europe's western edge, born from the fires of the Reconquista, transforming into the world's first global empire. We'll journey through prehistoric roots, Roman conquests, medieval kingdoms, daring voyages, colonial peaks, and revolutionary ends. Heroes like Prince Henry the Navigator, Vasco da Gama, and Afonso de Albuquerque will stride across our stage, alongside the untold stories of indigenous peoples, enslaved Africans, and resilient colonists. This script unfolds chronologically, chapter by chapter, drawing on historical depths to paint a vivid, unvarnished portrait. Let the winds of the Atlantic carry us forth. Chapter 1. Prehistoric Foundations. From hunter-gatherers to Iron Age farmers scene. Fade in on ancient landscapes of what is now Portugal. Rolling hills, coastal caves, and river valleys. Early humans forage under a vast sky. Narrator. Human presence in Portugal traces back to at least 500,000 years ago during the Lower Paleolithic era. In the central coastal region of Extremadura, simple stone tools linked to Homo erectus have been unearthed, marking the first flickers of intelligent life. Around 100,000 years ago, Neanderthals arrived, forming small hunting groups. The oldest fossil evidence? A Neanderthal tooth from the Nova da Columbera cave in Extremadura. These early inhabitants hunted game and gathered sustenance in a harsh glacial world. By 35,000 years ago, modern humans Homo sapiens sapiens supplanted the Neanderthals through competition, conflict, or interbreeding. A 24,500-year-old child skeleton near Laria hints at possible hybridization. The last glacial maximum around 18,000 years ago transformed the land. Polar waters lapped the coasts. Extremadura became treeless tundra, while the Tagus Valley retained forests. Hunter-gatherers pursued chamois, goats, deer, horses, aurochs, boars, and rabbits, supplemented by aquatic foraging. Populations were sparse, perhaps 500 in Extremadura alone. Artistic expression flourished in the Goa River Valley, with engravings from 25,000 to 10,000 years ago depicting aurochs, horses, and goats, the largest open-air Paleolithic art site known. Recent finds in the Tagus Basin suggest such art was more widespread. Post-glacial warming around 11,000 years ago ushered in the Mesolithic culture. Microliths aided fishing and trapping, leading to proto-sedentary communities with huts on coasts and rivers. Middens and fetal position burials adorned with ornaments reveal social rituals. Sites date back 8,000 years. The Neolithic Revolution arrived around 6000 BC on the coasts. Spreading inland by 4000 BC, polished tools and pottery marked permanent settlements on defensive sites. Megaliths, tombs, menhirs, dolmens, and passage graves symbolized land ownership and cults, like the bull motifs at Montemoro Novo. Metallurgy emerged gradually. Copper was known by 2500 BC in the Algarve and Baixo Alentejo, starting with ornaments and evolving to axes and tools through hammering, annealing, smelting, and casting. The Bronze Age, 2000 to 1500 BC, incorporated northern tin, fostering local industry. The secondary products revolution introduced animal traction, riding, milk, wool, weaving, irrigation, and plows. Bell beaker pottery signaled exchange networks, with Extremadura as a hub, possibly exporting food. Transport used ridgeways and seacraft like severos. Villages housed 150 to 350 people. Coastal huts were flimsy, but late Bronze Age castros provided defense against nomads and rivals. Interdependence linked open settlements and castros. Northern ones controlled tin, southern copper. Society stratified with warrior elites wielding bronze weapons as seen in uniform arms and burials. Elites dominated metals and distribution, while non-elites relied on stone tools. Longroiva steles depict warrior leadership. Religious shifts included eye idols, possibly a mother goddess from Mediterranean influences. Chapter 2. Celtic Invasions and Orientalization, 6th century BC, 1st century AD. Scene: Celtic warriors charge across plains, while Phoenician ships dock at southern ports. Opida rise, blending cultures. The Iron Age brought Indo-European Celts in two waves, 6th–5th century BC and 4th–3rd century BC. Celticization reshaped society, religion, art, technology, and ethnicity. Celtstal, fair horsemen dominated north and central Portugal, with minorities elsewhere. Identified groups included Sempsi, Tegesoto, Siefs, Ostromnisi, Northwest, Cani, Algarve, Turtoli, Celtici, South, and Lusitani, Central, Indo-European but debated as Celtic. Northern interiors focused on herding pigs, goats, sheep, cattle, and horses. Diets included butter, beer, cereals, and chestnuts. Coastal Dora Galicia was fertile. Estremadura featured latifundia. Castros like Setania de Briteros were fortified strongholds. Society was kinship-based, with clans per castro and hereditary chieftains forming confederations, populi gentes. Late Iron Age violence stemmed from population pressure. Mountain raiders targeted Estremadura. Deities like Banda and Nabia presided over a triad society: priests, warriors, producers. Human sacrifices honored warrior gods. Orientalization from 700 to 550 BC introduced iron, mining, wheel pottery, opida, art, writing, and cults in the south. Phoenicians from Tyre and Sidon traded metals and purple dye, establishing Andalusian settlements and importing perfumes. Greeks influenced indirectly via Tartessos at Huelva. Carthage intensified mid-6th century BC, founding Portus Hannibalis. Opida like Viamonte and Segovia were stratified, with latifundia exporting minerals, wool, and cloth. Religious syncretism featured a triad of deities, Cernunnos, Endovelicus, and Attigena, associated with bulls, boars, stags, and goats. Chapter 3. The Roman Experience, Conquest, Administration, and Economy, 218 BC to 409 AD. Scene: Roman legions march, villas dot the landscape, mines echo with labor. Aqueducts and roads crisscross the land. The Roman conquest began in the late 3rd century BC when Carthage controlled the south from Carthago Nova. Hannibal's 218 BC invasion recruited Lusitanian mercenaries, prompting Roman retaliation. Carthago Nova fell in 209 BC. Carthage expelled in 206 BC. Rome divided Iberia into Hispania Citerior and Ulterior. Predatory administration sparked revolts. Western peoples raided. Southern Portugal was occupied peacefully before 150 BC, with Cani as allies. Interior and north resisted via Lusitani and Calaici. Leaders like Punicus, Caesarus, and Cocanus led revolts in 194 to 193 BC. Viriatus, survivor of a 150 BC massacre, waged guerrilla war from 146 to 139 BC until assassinated. Post-Viriatus, defensive resistance persisted. Romans occupied the Tagus in 138 to 137 BC. Sertorius's rebellion, 80 to 72 BC, gained Lusitanian support but collapsed. Caesar and Pompeius subdued Tagus Doru in 61–44 BC. Augustus pacified the north in 24 to 19 BC. Romanization was profound in the south, slower north. Urbanization under Augustus included forums, theaters, baths, aqueducts, and temples. Roads connected south-north, Legaz to Galicia via Tagus, and west-east to Merida and Andalusia. Villas from late 1st BC were fortified near mines and ports, for example, Mertila. They featured residences, outbuildings, wheat fields, olive groves, vineyards, orchards, livestock, and fish salting garum in estuaries. Introduced crop rotation, fertilization, new seeds, animal breeds, and hydraulics. Examples like Milru, Faro, 1st AD, enlarged 3rd-4th centuries, had multiple rooms. Thermal baths, mosaics, and temples turned churches. Rural types. Modest Kasai north of Tagus, minifundia in northwest. Southern latifundia and northern minifundia entrenched divides. Mining extracted iron, copper, tin, lead, gold, silver. Alluvial gold in Tagus, Douro, Mondego. Population reached approximately 1 million by late 1st AD society. Sub-elite, privileged elites, citizenship under Claudius, 41 to 54 AD. Municipal offices shared by native Italian families. Elite-sponsored public works. Slavery. Approximately 1/3 population, war captives, sold children, born slaves. Roles in fields, mines, homes, trades. Skilled Greeks as tutors, physicians. Few rights but manumission possible. Freedmen and commerce mining. Administration. Provincial, Lusitania from Merida. District. Conventus. Pacensis at Beja, Scalabatanus at Santarem, Emeritensis at Merida. City, Civitates. Up to 24 in Lusitania. Galatia. 1 civitas at Braga, north via military chieftains. Diocletian, 284 AD, split Tarraconensis, Galatia to Braga. No Portugal concept. East-west roads, no modern borders. Legacy. Town locations, land systems, literate culture, vulgar Latin to Portuguese, Roman law, technology, architecture. Gods, indigenous Romanized, Banda, Nabia, and Dovelicus. Triad as Lares Penates, Genii, Jupiter Optimus Maximus. Imperial cult from Augustus. Oriental cults, Cybele, Algarve, Serapis Isis, north to Braga, Mithras, 200 AD via legionaries. Christianity, 3rd century communities among lowly. Elite by Constantine's 312 conversion. Theodosius I 392 ban ended paganism. Chapter 4. Germanic kingdoms, invasions, and settlements, 409 to 711 AD. Scene. Barbarian hordes sweep in, kingdoms rise amid ruins. Suevi and Visigoths forge new orders. In 409 AD, Vandals, Suevi, and Alans breached the Pyrenees from Gaul, plundering unchecked. Chroniclers Hydatius and Orosius describe devastation. Communities fled to cities and castros. Roman authority collapsed. By 411 AD, provinces divided: Lusitania Carthaginensis to Alans, Galatia to Suevi Hasting Vandals, Baetica to Silling Vandals, Tarraconensis remained Ramang. Visigoths intervened in 416 AD. Wallia crushed Alans and Silling Vandals. Hasting Vandals moved south, clashed with Suevi, devastated Braga, then to Lusitania, Baetica. By 429 to North Africa. The Suevi established in Galatia, raiding and negotiating. Rachila, 438 to 448, extended to Lusitania, Baetica, taking Merida, 439, and Seville, 441. Raided Tarraconensis, allied with Bacade. His son Ricerius, 448 to 456, continued, but Visigothic King Theodoric II defeated him at Orbigo in 456, sacking Braga. Suevi fragmented, with Visigoths dominating by 585, absorbing the kingdom. Visigothic rule unified Hispania by 624 with Portugal as part. Kings like Leovigild 568 to 586 centralized minting coins, compiling the Lex Visigothorum. Society. Arian Visigoths converted to Catholicism at Third Council of Toledo 589. Elite fusion with Hispano-Romans. Rural villas continued, towns declined. 711 AD. Muslim invasion under Tariq ibn Ziyad defeated Visigoths at Guadalete. Rapid conquest. Portugal fell quickly, with Lisbon and Porto submitting. Chapter 5. The birth of Portugal and early kingdom 711-415, scene. Reconquista battles rage. A new kingdom emerges. Alfonso Henriquez declares independence. From the Muslim conquest, Christian resistance in Asturias led the Reconquista. Portugal's origins tied to this, with the county of Portugal granted to Henry of Burgundy in 1096. His son Afonso Henriquez won at Ourique, 1139, proclaiming kingship. Independence recognized by Leon in 1179, Pope in 1179 via bull. Geography shaped identity. Bordered by Spain and Atlantic, expansion seaward. 13th century. Sancho II and Afonso III conquered Algarve by 1249, treaty with Castile set borders. King Dinas, 1279 to 1325, developed agriculture, navy. 14th century. Black Death, 1348, killed a third shifting power. Succession crisis 1383 led to Avis dynasty. Joao I victorious at Aljubarrada, 1385. Alliance with England, 1386 Treaty of Windsor. Society rural feudal, towns growing, Lisbon, Porto, Coimbra. Merchants, seafarers rose. Mediterranean trade dominated by Italians, Muslims. Portugal sought new routes. Catholic crusading spirit blended with policy. By 1400 stable, maritime-oriented. Chapter 6. The Age of Discovery and African Exploration 1415-1488. Prince Henry and Sagres, caravels sail south. Ceuta Falls, coasts charted. 1415. Conquest of Ceuta, North African hub for gold ivory slaves. Prince Henry Key, costly but symbolic. Henry and Sagres gathered experts, refined caravel, astrolabe, compass. Motives: gold, Christian allies, Prester John, crusade. 1420s to 1460. West African coast explored. Cape Bajador rounded 1434 by Gilleans. Senegal, Gambia 1440s. Cape Verde 1444. Gold, ivory, slaves traded. Atlantic Islands. Madeira, 1419, colonized 1420s, sugarcane with slaves, Azores, 1430s. Plantation model tested. Henry died 1460, foundations laid. Afonso V, 1438 to 1481, reached Gulf of Guinea. Fernando Gomez, 1471, to Gold Coast. Joao II, 1481, asserted control. Bartolomé Dias rounded Cape of Good Hope 1488, opening India route. Slave trade began 1440s. First auction 1444. Lisbon 10% black by 1500s. Chapter 7. Vasco da Gama and the Indian Ocean Empire. 1498 to 1550s. Gama's fleet rounds the Cape, arrives Calicut. Forts rise in Goa, Malacca. Gama's 1497 to 1498 voyage. Rounded Cape, reached Calicut. Spices secured, rivaling Venice. Cabral 1500. Discovered Brazil en route, claimed per Tordesillas 1494. Estado de India. Afonso de Albuquerque Viceroy 1509. Goa captured 1510, HQ. Malacca 1511, Hormuz 1515. Cartes system enforced monopoly. Outposts: Ceylon, Indonesia, Japan, 1540s, Nagasaki 1570, China, Macau 1557. Trade: spices, porcelain, silk. Battles: Shoal Diu, 1509, defeated Mamluks Gujaratis. African forts: Mozambique, Sofala. Missionary: Francis Xavier 1542, Chapter 8, Brazil and the Atlantic Empire. 1500 to 1700s, Cabral lands in Brazil, plantations grow, gold rushes inland. Brazil claimed 1500, slow growth, Brazowood trade. French rivalry prompted colonization 1530s, captaincies 1533 to 1535. Pernambuco, São Vicente prospered with sugar slaves. Governor Tome de Souza 1548, Salvador capital 1549. Jesuits arrived, diseases decimated indigenous. France Antarctique expelled 1560, Rio founded 1567, gold boom Minas Gerais 1693. Diamonds Mato Grosso. Population surged, Rio capital 1763. Slavery central, Quilombos like Palmares resisted. Pombal reforms 1750s. Jesuits expelled 1759, secular education, diversification, cotton, tobacco. Chapter 9, Peak, Iberian Union, and Decline, 1580 to 1822. Philip II seizes throne, Dutch attacks, Brazil independence. Iberian Union 1580 to 1640, Philip II king. Separate admins, but wars drained. Dutch seized Malacca, 1641, Ceylon, 1658, Brazil parts, 1624 to 1654, Restoration 1640, Avis ended. Asia prominence lost, Brazil focus. Napoleonic invasion 1807, Court to Rio, Brazil United Kingdom 1815. Independence 1822 under Pedro I, Chapter 10. The Third Empire and end 1822 to 1999. African scramble, wars, decolonization. Africa focus, Angola, Mozambique. Slavery abolished 1878, forced labor persisted. British ultimatum 1890 ended, pink map. Republic 1910, WI. Kianga seized, regained post-war. Salazar, 1932 to 1968, resisted decolonization. Goa annexed 1961. Wars 1961 to 1974. Carnation Revolution 1974 led to independence. Guinea-Bissau 1973. Mozambique, Angola 1975. East Timor 1975, invaded by Indonesia, Macau 1999.